Hello and happy Wednesday. So today we're going to be working with models for division, and those models are for multiplication as well. And you'll need your sharpened pencil, you'll need your math notebook, and your Chromebook. So we're going to be solving multiplication and division story problems with products and dividends to 100, dividing two-digit numbers by one-digit numbers using strategies, and using an area model to explain. So this is a review for the kids that are here at school. For you guys at home, this might be a little bit of new information. So the four models for multiplication are your possible strategies: an open number line, a ratio table, a tile array, and an area model. So I would like for you to take out your math notebook and pause the video so that you can copy this into your notebook. Strategies for multiplication. Because you've worked with these have been in part of what you've done, but you haven't taken notes on that. So go ahead and pause it to write all of that down. All right, so I want you to look at this picture. Have you ever tried to open a box and have it accidentally rip? Well, here's an example of that very thing. So let's say we've got a box of crayons and the lid didn't open all the way. How many crayons are in each row, and how do you know? Look at the box. See everything you can see about the box. Notice that it says 32 are the total that are in the box, and you can see there's 4 going back, so we know there's 4 rows. We don't know how many are here, how many columns we have, but we do know that there's 4 rows. We know it's going to be equal numbers, and the total's going to be 32. You may choose one of these apps below or work this out in your math notebook. So pause it for a moment. You can use drawings, whatever you want to, but pause the video so that you can work this out in your notebook and then come back to me. Did you pause it? Did you work it out? Make sure you've worked it out. Okay, I'm going to trust you. So if we wanted to use a number line to show this, keep in mind we would be ending on 32 because 32 is our total. And we know that we've got 4. So what we can do, if we use the number line, we want to go all the way to 32. Notice it doesn't quite make it to 32. So I'm going to change this to be by 2s so that I can fit what I need. Now I can stretch it out a little. Oh, that's too much though, isn't it? Notice we don't get to 32 that way. So we'll stick with this. And I'm going to hit done. Now, over here, we're going to put our first top. Remember that we're stopping on 32, which is right here. And remember how many rows we had? We had 4. Now remember that this is going by 2s. So if we want this to show 4s, it's pretty small right there. Okay? But that's 4s because it's landing on 4. So now I've got this highlighted. I'm going to put a 4. But then I'm going to come down and make another one. Now, I want to see how many jumps I can take before I end up at 32. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There were 8 jumps. Each of these had 4 inside them because they covered 4 different jump, 4 different spots that we cover through those numbers. It was 4. And the last one. So right here I've got, we went by 4, so it's 4 times something. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So right here, I can write a multiplication sentence equation. I can write division equations. So let's go back. So that was one way. Now let's go to the number pieces. So with number pieces, my total is really, really important. There were 32 crayons, so I need to remember that. Oops. Let's try that again. There we go. 32. You like that? Isn't that nice? I'm writing with my finger, so it's not that pretty. All right, so 32, that tells me how many crayons we have in the box. And I'm going to build this just like the picture that we can see. So we know that there are 4 going this way, and that it takes 32 total that are in that box, 32 crayons total. So I've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Remember that I can only see this much of it, but I still know that I'm stopping on 32. So that was 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and that one, 24, almost there, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. So let's think for just a second about what we know and what we didn't know when we did this. We were trying to figure out how many were in each row. We knew that total we had 32 crayons. That's our total. And we also knew that there were 4 rows. So what we had to figure out were how many crayons were in each row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we know there are 8 crayons in each row. So those are the things that we've figured out. Now, by the way, just to remind you, when you want to share, when I ask you to share, come down to the box with the arrow coming out, hit Save Image, and remember that over here it's going to pop up and you'll do Copy to Clipboard. Then you'll come back over here and you'll hit Control and V for victory. So what models did we use? What did you use? There's some different options. So together we made an area model. Move myself over again. We made an area model. It was a little prettier than this because we had the app for it. We weren't just using pieces for it. But we started off with what we knew, model the situation. We knew that there were 4 rows, and this was how much we could see in the picture. We added groups until we got to 32 total. And then we needed to count how many were in each row. Another possibility, number line, we did show this. On the number line, we were going by 4 in each jump, and we figured out that it took 8 jumps to get to 32. So that told us 4 times what equals 32? 8. And that tells us 32 divided by 4 equals 8. Remember, anytime you've got a division problem, you're looking for 4 times what gives me this big number. 4 times 8 gives me 32. Could also use a ratio table. Ratio tables are huge. They're really in right now. In 3rd grade, you learned how to use them. In 4th grade, you're going to use them a lot. So easy way to organize here, we've got, it's just a T for a T chart, rows of crayons, because we're given that information, number of crayons, and our goal is to get to 32 because we know there are 32 in the box. So 1 row, 4 crayons. 2 rows, 8 crayons. 3 rows, and so on until we make it to the golden 32. And it took 8 rows to get there. So that gave us our missing information. Another way would be using a doubling strategy for multiplying. So we know that it takes 2 4s to get 8. So we could double that 4 and then just be counting our 8s. Well, we also know this would take 4 8s, and we know if we double 8, we get 16. So that can help you get there a little bit faster if you're comfortable with the number line. And the same thing on our ratio table. We can use the doubling strategy there. We didn't have to go all the way to 8 and 32 if we already knew our basis. So we knew that it was going to take a little while. So if you use doubling here, 1 row does still have 4 crayons. That doesn't change. But if I then go to 2, I've doubled my amount. So 2 rows would have 8 crayons. Well, if I double 8, I get 16. Still not as high as I need to go. I'm going to 32. So that we would double the 2 on this side to get to 4. That means we have to double this amount to get to 16. And I happen to know that 16 plus 16 gives me 32, and that is our magic number, right? So over here, I double the 4 to get to 8. Now, super important information. You ready? Okay, so on the screener, it asked you for fact family information, right? When you were younger, you learned fact families as you had 2 addition problems and 2 subtraction problems. Well, big bad 4th grade here, you are talking about a fact family having multiplication and division. So we got that part right. Multiplication and division. The really other important part, I've been grading some of the work, and you want to make sure an equation always has your equal sign and your answer. So if there's a missing bit of information, it would still have the letter for that. But what you guys have been working on, your equation should have the problem itself with the answer as the equation. So thinking with the 32 and what we just worked through, 2 possible multiplication equations. Can you think of them? So 8 times 4 equals 32. That's one of our equations. And we can reverse that. Commutative property of multiplication says we can reverse it and get the same answer. 4 times 8 equals 32. So now we've got half of it. There are 4 facts total for when we're talking about our fact families. So we've got, this is a number sentence, complete sentence. It's got the equal sign and answer. So this is an equation. Now we need 2 division equations. Big thing to remember on equations. Division equations. Always put the big number first. So you know how when you subtract, if you had 4 minus 10, it wouldn't make sense? You would always, when you're subtracting, have the big number first. So 10 minus 4. Same with division. Big number first. Super important. So what was our big number on this problem? 32. Yes, it's 32. So it's going to be 32 divided by one of our numbers, and then 32 divided by the other number. So 32 divided by 8 equals 4. And we can reverse these two. 32 divided by 4 would have to equal 8. Remember how division works. 8 times 4 gives us 32. 4 times 8 gives us 32. Okay? All right. What about this one? It's a little bit different. We have a crayon box. We have 15 crayons in this one. So that's important. Look at what's exposed here. We've got 3 rows instead of 4. So we know 15 is our big number. So 3 times something equals 15. This is the C stands for number of columns here. So we also know that one of our division equations will be 15 divided by 3, because that's what we've been given us, the 3 rows, will equal our number of columns. So let's see how we can work this one out. I am going to have to zoom in a little bit. I do not have my glasses on. So we've got this crayon box right here. This was just our other crayon box. I'm just going to hide it so that we're not confused by it. Let's start off with using a ratio table. I'm telling you, they are awesome. All right, so that's probably going to be a little more confusing, so I'll just write. So we've got one column has 3 crayons in it. Now think about how we're going. So from 1 to 2, how did we get there? We can add 1, but we're also doubling. So one row has 3 crayons. That means 2 rows would have 6 total. So what we just did was multiplying by 2. We were doubling the 3. Okay, well, that means that 3 rows, that's going to be 6 plus 3. So what is 6 plus 3? We'd have 9 crayons. Right? With me so far? Let's just keep going here. So 4 columns would be 9 plus 3. So that gives us 12 crayons. And let's go up to 5. 5 rows then, 12 plus 3 gives us 15. So we were trying to figure out how many columns we had. You know, how many crayons are in each row. So it would be 5. But of course, that's not the only way we can figure this out. So we can use this number line. It's already partially done for us, so that's awesome. 1 times 3 gives us 3. So one row, or one column, has 3 crayons in it. 2 columns, that'd be 6. We've got missing stuff here. So we've got to figure out what's missing. We get down to the end, and we've got something times 3 gives us 15. Now, we've already done this, so we actually know the information. We know the answer. But let's go ahead, just for kicks and giggles, and fill in what's missing. So we've got 1 times 3 is 3. 2 times 3 is 6. 3. Now I'm using my mouse to write, so excuse me, please. So 3 times 3 gives us 9. And next would be 4 times 3, right? And 4 times 3 is 9 plus 3, 12. So look at our pattern so far. We've got 1 times 3, 2 times 3, 3 times 3, 4 times 3. So this would be 5 times 3, right? Yeah. Awesome. Awesome sauce. All right. Now, the cool thing about this page is that I have tiles over here that I can build it with. So if I know that my total is 15, I could go ahead and model part of this. So I know the information I know is that there are 3 in each column. So I could start off with this. These are red linear pieces, but I refer to them often as like little staples. So that would be the 3. That would just show it's on the outside because sometimes we're not going to want to build all of this, but we still want to know what we're talking about. So that would be the 3. But then, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I would need to build it all the way to the total number of crayons, which is 15. All right, so let's come down here. So if I build that, let's just get rid of that. So if I build that, I've got 3 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to get 15 total. So I would have 3 times 5, which gives me a total of 15. And that's my area model. Now over here on the other side, I've got this way, and that's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns, or 5 rows this way, and 3 columns. Now, is it still going to be 15? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It is. So are they the same? 3 times 5 equals 15. 5 times 3 equals 15. Is that the same? It is, isn't it? So now I want you to think about something else. How would you illustrate 24 divided by 4? So what would you do? Well, you'd want your first step would be to take out 24 tiles if you are illustrating it with the tile array, with showing the area model with the tiles. So you would take out 24. It's 24 divided by 4. So that means that you'd probably want to have 4 rows. You've got your 24 pieces. And then you would have to, it's like dealing out cards, kind of. You've got your 24 that you're going to deal out, kind of like cards. And you've got 4 rows here. So you'd start off with your 1, 2, 3, 4. And then see how many times can you put 4 in a column. Well, it would take, you would be able to do it 6 times evenly. Okay, so the rest is going to be for you to practice with. I'm just going to show you something. So illustrate 36 divided by 9 equal using the Number Pieces app. Share the image to this slide. So this right here is a link. I'm going to want you to follow the link. And remember what it's asking, 36 divided by 9. So you're going to take out 36 of these. You are going to show me all the possible arrangements that are an actual rectangle. They cannot be a puzzle piece kind of thing. They've got to be a rectangle. And then when you're done, because I'm not done, this was just an example, you're going to go to Share, Save Image, Copy to Clipboard, and then come back over here and put the page in. So remember, mine is totally different. The way I do it is totally different because I've got a mouse and I don't have a Chromebook, so it's completely different. Dun, dun, dun. So this is just an example. Please do not give me this empty information. I need actual stuff. But then when you get back over here, you're going to hit Control and V for victory. Eek. And you can't do that if you are in present mode. And then you'll put your picture here that will have all the information it's supposed to have, right? Yes, Mrs. Daly. Definitely Mrs. Daly. All right. Then this explains your assignment. So your assignment for today, you will illustrate each problem with a number line or an area model. So you need to do one or the other. If you want to use a number line, that is fine. Write an equation, complete sentence, just like if you're writing with words, except this is numbers. You've got your problem, the expression part, an equal sign, and the answer. Yes, yes. Don't forget that. So notice on, this is your assignment, these two pieces right here. So notice on this, the directions. They will change your life. You've got to read and follow directions. It says model each problem with a labeled sketch of an open number line, a ratio table, or an array. Then write an equation to show your answer. So right here, you have access to the number line or number pieces. You do you, boo. Whichever one you want to use, or if you want to use your notebook and take a picture of it, that's fine too. But I need you to put a picture of how you worked it out. Then you need your equation and show me the units with your answer, okay? Sound good? Awesome. When you are finished, you will hit turn in. I hope you have had a great time with math today. And don't forget 10 minutes extra math practice. Follow the link and let me know if you're having any trouble logging in. All right, I will talk to you later. Have a wonderful afternoon. Bye, guys.